So what is the problem that's plaguing us all? What is the thing that's keeping us from enjoying our life? What is it that's making us so miserable, so unhappy, so unfulfilled? What is it about humanity that we want to kill each other, that we want to rule over each other, that we want to hoard over each other, that we want to hurt each other, that we want to gossip about each other, that we want to tear down each other, that we want to be better than each other? What is it about humanity that makes us do these horrible things? Fear. It's always been about fear. Fear is the thing that makes us act in a way that we would not act. Fear is the one thing that makes us do everything that we would not do. Fear is the one thing that we need to get rid of. See, God doesn't give us the spirit of fear, but we are ruled by it. We are ruled by fear. It is our fear in each other. It is our fear in our own family. It is our fear in our own lives. It is our fear that we may lose our jobs, that we may not be liked by those that we care about, left by a spouse, that our children will grow to regret us, fear that we've made terrible mistakes in our lives, fear that we are failing, fear that our dreams will never come true, fear that our neighbors hate us, fear, 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 fear that we will never get to where we want to be, fear that we will never, ever, ever see the land of promise. People wonder what salvation is. Fear puts you in a place of emotional hell, and that's what hell is. Fear is that hell. And in a place of fear, you gossip about people. In a place of fear, you cry. In a place of fear, you have pain. In a place of fear, there is burning inside of you. You can't stop thinking about it. You can't stop thinking the worst about the people that are outside of you. You can't stop thinking about the worst about the people that are in your own families. It is fear. Fear is the enemy. Fear is what we need to be saved from. Because God did not give us the spirit of fear. And if God didn't give us the spirit of fear, then we made it up. And if we made it up, it's not true. If we can take control of our thoughts, power of life and death is in the tongue. The tongue is ruled by the mind. So we need to take captive our thoughts. We need to think not thoughts that are fearful, not thoughts that bring us pain, but thoughts that bring us peace, thoughts that bring us hope. Think on these things. There is a whole system called religion that has been built on fear. Fear of terrorist attacks, fear of being excommunicated, fear of not being accepted by your peers, fear of eternal torment and damnation, fear that God won't love you, fear that your illness is brought on because you've done something wrong. Fear, 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 fear. Religion is built upon it. Built upon it. And that's why there's so much pain in the world. You want to know what you need to be saved from? It's not just being saved from yourself. Because who you are is good. At the very core of who you are is good. Fear tells you different. Fear makes you believe that you are bad, that you are evil. And whatever a man believes in his heart, that he becomes. We need to get past our fear. And we need to stop going to people that use fear as motivators. We need to leave these temples and altars of Baal, these churches and these religious leaders that will have us wrangled together as if we're sheep being led off to slaughter. And why are we being killed? We're being killed by fear. We're being ruled by fear. Everybody's worried about the end of the world, 2012. Christ came into this world. Christ came into hell, into our fear, to deliver us from it. He gave us the keys. And keys unlock, and they also lock. He said, upon this I will build my church. Upon us, the ecclesia, the called out ones. What are we called out of? We're called out of fear. We're called out of religion. We're called out of man-made doctrine and laws. Upon this I'll build my church, my called out ones. Upon this, and the gates of hell shall not prevail upon it. And what do gates do exactly? Think about that for a second. Gates are meant to keep out or to keep in. And if a gate prevails, if a gate does what it's supposed to do, it keeps out and it keeps in. But the gates of hell, the gates of our fear and our worry and our dread and our pain and our emotional sorrow and our ignorance, these gates, they have no power over us. They shall not prevail against us. We cannot be locked in to this place of suffering. We can let ourselves out whenever we want, and we can let ourselves back in whenever we want. We have power. The Apostle Paul, before he was known as Paul, when he was known as Saul, was a man that was riddled with fear. So much fear that when people started talking about the truth, he wanted them all dead. You see, the day of the Lord is a scary day, but most people don't even know what that means. It doesn't mean it's a day when Jesus Christ appears riding a cloud and comes down and slaughters everyone that doesn't belong to a Baptist, Pentecostal, Lutheran, Catholic. Day of the Lord is the day that the truth is revealed in you, and it's a scary day. So of course, when I start saying things that are different, when I start saying that God is a God of love that accepts all people, that God will have His will, which is to have all men be saved from their fear, people don't want to hear that, because it is their fear that they may be wrong. And no one wants to be wrong. But when the truth comes, great earthquakes, it is a day of darkness and gloominess and terrible things. When the truth comes to you, it shakes you to the very core. You know the axe is laid to the root. The system is about to fall. Today is the day when the truth is going out, and it can't be stopped. Love overcomes fear. It will eradicate it. Christ destroys the Antichrist. Love destroys fear with the brightness of its coming. You may be scared right now in your life because you have circumstances that you think are out of your control. But if you let the fear go, you will see those circumstances fade away. And then you will know that even those circumstances work together for your good. So Saul, before he became the Apostle Paul, he was Mr. Religious, the Pharisee of all Pharisees. And he was so scared that all that schooling was in vain that he went off to kill all the Christians. All the people that were speaking differently, he wanted them dead. But on the road to Damascus, a great light came to him. What does a light symbolize again? It's enlightenment. He didn't see a literal man. A voice came inside of his head. A revelation came to him. Jesus comes in the glory of God. The truth is revealed in the hidden thing. The truth was revealed to him. And what happens when the truth comes? Paul was made blind. All symbolism, people. And he was knocked off his high horse, face first into the dirt. And when the revelation of Christ came, he was blind. Being blind is symbolic of being ignorant. He knew at that moment that everything that he had learned his whole life was done. He realized he knew nothing about God. He knew nothing about the nature of God. He was blind. So blind that he had to be led by a child. He couldn't have the meat yet until the revelation comes. When the truth of God is revealed in you and your fear is taken away, your blindness, your ignorance will fall away and you will understand. And they will fall away as scales. And no, we're not talking about literal scales here, people. The scales of the Leviathan are his pride. We're talking about religious pride. We're talking about pride as the thing that keeps us from the truth. And what does pride come from? Pride is rooted in fear. And that, my friends, is the adversary of God, who is love. So you want to know what salvation is? Overcome your fear. Let it all go. Trust in God. Let him establish your ways in your coming in and your going out. Blessed is the man that trusts in the Lord. Blessed are you that just trust that your journey is okay. No matter what you are going through right now, this is your path. This is your journey. Don't let fear rule you.